Hi guys, it's Sam from Creatively Sam's, and today I'm making a Christmas centerpiece. This is your basic round centerpiece. It's also lit up, and once you know how to do this, you can make any round centerpiece using any colors you like. If you want to see how to do this, stay tuned. It's coming up next. Okay, I need an 8-inch cake round for this, and all I have is a 10. So I'm going to try and cut it out. Without bending it all up. And since cardboard does bend so easily, I'm just going to come in here and do bits and pieces. And just cut off the excess as I go. And that way it shouldn't bend. I'll be back when I'm done with that. Okay, I got it cut out and didn't bend it, which makes me very happy. And I'm going to put a whole bunch of hot glue on this. And I'm just going to turn this over and put it on the cardboard. And I don't really mind that it's sticking out because the florals will cover it. But putting this on the bottom of this floral round will keep this from getting all over your table. Okay, now I'm going to add some moss to it. And ideally I would be using floral pins, but I'm out of them, so I'm going to make my own. And for this I'm going to use some floral wire. And I'm just going to cut little pieces. You don't need much. This is about 3 inches. And all you'll do is fold it in half and use it to anchor. So I'll be back after I cut a few of those. Okay, now that I have a bunch of these cut out, I'm going to put this right up against the edge. I'm not going to go down on the inside. And you just push those little wires in there to hold it in place. Unfortunately, these are not as thick as regular floral pins, but it'll work. And you see that tear? I'm going to put wire on one side, wire on the other, and press it in, and it'll help to hide it. And then I'm just going to cut it off. And I'm going to keep going all the way around, and I'll be back when that's done. Okay, I got it all covered, and I was going through my stash of lights, and I found this. And I think I got it at Walmart. I doubt if it was the Dollar Tree because it does so much. But these have got timers. And let's bring these up so you can see what they do. And that's just on. There's flashing. And there's fade. And these are all on a timer, so that they stay on for 6 hours and go off for 18. So what I'm going to do is cut some more of these, clean this up, and I'm going to anchor these lights in and around. So I'll be back once I get this cleaned up and those cut. Okay, I made a whole bunch of these because since this has 18 lights, I'm going to need at least 18. And I cut a large piece of wire and twisted, or actually 3 pieces, and twisted it together. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use this to anchor it or just leave it as is. But I'm going to turn it on. And by turning it on, it makes it easier to place. Just going to straighten it out. Okay, now I'm going to find the middle. And I'm going to just use one of these little wire pieces to anchor it. And I'm going to anchor it right by the light. And let me play with this until I get it the way I like it. And I'll be right back. Okay, the nice thing about using these instead of trying to hot glue is that you can readjust if you need to. These were spaced out too far, so I brought them in closer. And all you do is take the pin back out, move them where you want it, and push the wire back in. And I did every other one because I want to bring the light down to the side. And that way you've got light on the top and the sides, and it'll glow nicely on your table. So I'll be back after I'm done pinning the ones down here on the side. Okay, I've got them all pinned in. Some of these wires are sticking out real far. Just use the little wire pins to hold it in place. But chances are the flowers are going to hide that anyway. And I forgot to tell you that when you make these, keep your ends straight. And that way it slides in a whole lot easier and makes less work for you. Like this one here is sticking up way too high. I don't even know if a flower would cover that. Let me turn the light out and you can see how they're spaced. Nope, this one's over too far, so I'm going to move this. I don't like this big space here that has no light. And that's something that's really nice about this, is that you can keep playing with it until you get it the way you like it. And I'm not even worried about these little gaps because the flowers will cover them. Okay, now we get to play with flowers. One of my favorites. Okay, this is a base for any floral arrangement you're going to make, if you're using the round disc. In the springtime, you can use daffodils. In the fall, you can use all the fall displays. But this is the basis for making it. When I see one that I don't like in that place, move that over just a little bit. There we go. Okay, since this is for Christmas and I've decided on a blue and white theme this year, I'm using white poinsettias. If your color scheme is different, then use whatever color you want. I'm just giving you the basic floral arrangement, and you do this and make it your own. Please never feel that you have to copy. I was a floral designer for 6 years. I keep trying to teach everyone the tricks of the trade without having to spend a fortune. And the markup on these arrangements is incredible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these short. And I'll be back when I'm done cutting all of the poinsettias. Okay, I cut 2 bushes of the poinsettias. And I'm not using any glue on this. The one thing I learned as a floral designer is that odd numbers are more pleasing to the eye. And I almost always start these off in a star pattern. Just using 5. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down in between these to give some color and some fill to the sides. And there's the base of it. And now you start adding whatever you want. You can do pine cones, you can do little critters, you can do beads, or you can add more flowers. Which I think I'm going to add some more flowers. Okay, what I decided to do was add a flower in between the ones that are on the bottom. So they're actually directly below the star. pattern. And see that gap? Flower's going to cover it. Okay. Now I'm going to add some beads, or berries, or whatever, and I actually got an entire, actually I bought everything that Dollar Tree had at the time. This was originally going to be for an arrangement for my grandbaby's baby shower, and I chose to use other flowers, so I've got a ton of these. So I'm going to cut them short, and I'm going to tuck them in between the flowers on the top. And I'm going to tuck them in between the flowers that are down here. And we'll be back when I'm done with that. Okay, I've got all the berries put in. If you choose to do this in red poinsettias, try white berries. White poinsettias, try red berries. Do whatever it is that makes you happy, because this is your centerpiece. Okay, I don't think this needs all that much more. I'm going to add a few accent pieces and maybe a little bling. And I'm going to show you this with the lights off. You see how they're just glowing underneath the leaves and the berries. It's subtle, but it's pretty. Okay, I think it needs a little sparkle silver in there. So, let me go through my stash. Okay, this is my bag of silver that I've been collecting for the last few years. Dollar Tree. I think I'm going to start off with these. And we'll see where it needs to go from there. And the silver berries might look nice in there too. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I'm liking the way these silver, whatever they are looking. I like the way it's coming up and over, and it's giving it some movement and more dimension. So I'm just kind of tucking these around the top 5 that I started off with. And I'm not sure if I'm going to put them on the bottom or not. Yeah, I like them on the sides. So what I'm doing is trying to go between these two. And at this point you've got so many leaves that it's kind of hard to get it in there. Just make sure you cut the stems real small. Because at this point it's going to go through the foam if it's too long. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay, it needs a couple other things. Give me a minute. Okay, the more I looked at this, the more I didn't like the length of these. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit. Remember, just because they design them to be a certain length doesn't mean that you have to stay with it. Because this is your arrangement. This one I think is sticking out way too far. And I'm sure I'll find uses for this. And that just gives it just the right amount of pop without being the focal point. I was thinking about using the little birds that I got in my latest haul. Maybe tuck them in here and there. I kind of like them on that. And these have a little clip, so you can slide them onto something. You don't have to glue these. And what's really nice about not gluing is that after the holiday, you can take this apart. Take all your flowers out. And use it for another holiday. Clips aren't real sturdy on these, but they'll work. And I'm going to use all three because, like I said, odd numbers are more pleasing to the eye. And all I have to do is decide what I'm going to use in the center of this. I like it with the plain white candle. And I can add a little blue ribbon on there to bring the blue up. Let me know which one you like better. Okay, to add ribbon to a candle, this is one of the easiest ways that I know, is to use some little sequin pins. And then you just put one in there, one at the bottom, bent that one. I don't know if I like that on there or not. Let me know what you think. But I'm going to turn all the lights on. And I'm going to turn these off. And if I decide not to use the ribbon, And again, I could always use a flameless candle and put ribbon on that just by using double stick tape. So if you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and happy creating, everyone.